to our pre-Thanksgiving edition. I can't speak tonight. Edition of One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer. I am your host, Vincent Opper, joined by our co-host, JJ Jackson, and our frequent contributor, Max Opper. I do want to encourage you to like us on Facebook, follow us on X, contact us through onecard1cup1beer@gmail.com. You can subscribe to us by clicking on the icon at the bottom right hand of the corner of the screen, or at the end of the show, you can go to the emblem highlighted and you will be in our fold. You can support us through Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search for One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer, and you can see the different levels that you can support our efforts. I do want to remind you all that next week we will not have a show. There are very few weeks during the year. This is only the third time in about, 65 weeks that we've not had a show. But that week of Thanksgiving, there's just so much going on. It's very difficult for me to find the time to do the editing and everything like that. So we just skip it. And Watch will skip it, and then all the free agents will be signed next week. We'll be way behind the eight ball, but that's okay. And we do have another edition of Guess the Cubby. We have this man over my shoulder and over my shoulder and around me. Now, I will freely admit this man was not a Cub for a very long time, but he was integral when he was with the Cubs, and he had a great career throughout both the National and American League. So if you recognize this gentleman, remember that he was a Cub. You can either let me know, let JJ know. You can let us know through the comments on the YouTube channel. You can let us know in the comments of the podcast. You can contact us directly through a message. You can send us an email at onecard1cup1beer@gmail.com. The first one that gets us will get a tally. And remember, the person who collects the most tallies by the end of spring training will get a prize package that includes the official One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer shirt, the official One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer coffee mug, the official One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer 500 milliliter water bottle, the official One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer license plate that has no legal jurisdiction, but it is kind of cute. And the best part of this package is that you will get 2 tickets to a Cardinal Cup game. And like we tell people, you can be either nosebleed or you can be sitting there in luxury in a suite, depending on how much money we get in Patreon. So thank you for all of our Patreon supporters. So you are going to make somebody's day with a couple of tickets that we will find out at the end of spring training. That's going to be really cool. So gentlemen, how are you doing?
Excellent.
Fantastic. It's Tuesday and we're talking baseball. Don't get no better than this, Vince.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
Well, we have found out that Gunnar Henderson is the American League Rookie of the Year and Corbin Carroll is the National League Rookie of the Year. Both of them unanimous. I don't think it was anything earth-shocking. JJ, I do believe that you thought that Gunnar Henderson was going to be the Rookie of the Year. I think that was your call.
Yes, sir.
And I think, did we all three pick Corbin Carroll? I don't remember. But
no, being a Cardinal fan,
oh, you picked Jordan Walker. Sorry.
I know. He didn't even finish in the top 5, but I'm happy with his rookie year that he wasn't up there with the top 5 guys. That's obvious.
So with the Rookie of the Year out of the way, thoughts on Henderson's year, thoughts on Corbin Carroll's year?
I mean, the players are just getting better, it feels like. I mean, these are both guys who came up and had almost MVP caliber seasons, And I know Corbin Carroll got a cup of coffee, I think, in 2022, and so did Henderson, I want to say, but still, both of them, they play excellent defense, they both hit. Corbin Carroll's one of the fastest players in baseball. They're just exciting.
Both will get MVP votes, too.
I believe so. And Corbin Carroll, a young guy, and he's kind of kind of one of the captains on the team. It seems like, yeah, he always very he didn't show a lot of emotion. There's all kinds of different kind of players, but he was a guy out there that just hustled, played hard, just seemed like he loved the game. And he came, and these young guys, this young group of players are surrounded by the other guys that really propelled Arizona, and they barely got in the playoffs this year, barely getting, not a sore spot, but they barely got past the Cubs to get into the playoffs. And Corbin Carroll was probably the biggest reason they did so well, and they had good pitching as well. You got to have pitching as well. But now getting over to Henderson, I've watched this kid for a while, and I'm just taken by him. But this Baltimore team, they weren't good for about 3 years where they were really bad. Got all these traded off anybody of any value, kind of went that route, and they're all kind of blossoming at the same time. And this kid, him and the catcher, my gosh, are fantastic. They got so much talent on that team. If they just had a little more pitching, I think they could be, they could be the American League champions. It wouldn't take too much for them to get over the hump, but they just seemed like they lack a little pitching, and they had so many. Their bullpen, their reliever got hurt this year too. But my gosh, that kid is fantastic. And then everyone knows that Jackson Holiday's coming, maybe next year or the year after. Look out. That's some team. He might have to change positions. The rookie of the year might have to go to a different position. I don't know how that's going to work. Anyway, fun watching these young players. And like Max said, the talent level of the young kids coming to the league is fantastic. Baseball's in a good place right now, and I think with the new rules, more athleticism. We're seeing a lot of like speed and defense, and just man, they're on par. It's best I've seen of this young group of players coming.
Baltimore, did they have the best record? They had the best record in the American League, correct?
104?
Did they have the best record in baseball?
101, I think. Yeah, they were up there.
Yeah, they didn't add pitching at the trade deadline, did they?
Flaherty. That was it.
Like I said, they didn't add pitching at trade deadline.
You are correct, sir.
I think those of us who've seen Flaherty over the last few years realize that his best days are in the rearview mirror. I kind of see them maybe being a little gun shy this year. We're so young. Maybe we don't give up any of these prospects in the minors for a great pitcher at the trade deadline, and see if we could do it this year with what we got. I think if you went back, if I was a GM, I would have tried to trade for a frontline pitcher. I would have tried to been in on the Jordan Montgomery. They may have been, but I know they've got the chips to offer more than most teams can offer in a trade. So I wonder if they're going to be maybe a sleeper to get an Aaron Nola or even a Yamamoto. Perhaps, because I think that's really the only thing they're really lacking is that front top of the rotation stud to anchor everything else.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting that I think during like the Chris Davis era, they actually did run like a top 5 payroll at some point. So they have the ability to spend money. They've been so bad as of recent. So, I mean, they could get back in there.
Now, who owns that team? Peter Angelos used to own it, and he was known for just doing stupid contracts. So I don't think he owns it anymore. I don't know who owns the Bolt. I feel like Slapshot. Who owned the team? I don't know, the corporation. So,
oh yeah.
I think his son owns the team now. Maybe.
Okay. So Manager of the Year just announced about an hour ago. Skip Schumacher, National League Manager of the Year. No surprise there. Very deserving. And I actually listened to a podcast out of New York that was saying that it should be, gosh, who'd they say it should be? Oh, Torey Lovella. And I'm thinking, why? he had a terrible second half. They barely eked into the playoffs. And I don't see Lavella being a difference maker as a manager. I know he won one manager of the year, but I don't see him as anything special. Schumacher, with what he had, he got a lot done with a lot less. I'll put it that way. Especially with Alcantara just not having the year he had, being injured, so on and so forth. And to the delight of Cub fans throughout the nation, the American League Manager of the Year is Brendan Hyde. So, former Cub, third base coach.
I did not know that.
Yeah, went from the Cubs to the Orioles.
Madden presented him with it, and he said that he owes everything to him, that he, thanks the world of him. I didn't know their connection, if it was Tampa Bay or Chicago. I didn't know.
Yeah. And they may have been together at Tampa. I don't know. But two very worthy manager of the years. And I think if Hyde has a similar year next year, he's probably not going to win it, because it's like, oh yeah, we know you're really good. You march that team out, so they're going to win it. So, you guys have anything you want to talk about before we get into the meat?
Well, also, we didn't mention this before, but during the World Series, they announced the Roberto Clemente Award. I think we had so much to talk about at that time, we didn't mention it, but Aaron Judge won that. And that's a lot of people, they kind of look at their awards after they retire and they can look back on their careers, but that's one of the more prestigious awards, and everybody's very, humbled by receiving that one. He does a lot of charity work and things like that, and just another feather in Aaron Judge's cap. And it's good to see that he's giving back. That's pretty cool. The Gold Gloves Awards, we talked about that. Cardinals, one nominee, nothing. Silver Slugger, you're probably going to talk about that in a minute. We had one nominee, we didn't win nothing. But everybody who won it, deserving people, just the Cardinals weren't up there on that. And then I also was going to mention the San Diego Padre manager or owner passed away today at the age of 63.
Yeah.
Which, I was shocked. I seen some pictures of him, and it seemed like, according to those pictures, he looked like he was having some health issues, but I didn't know anything like this. I did not know he was the grandson of the O'Malley's that owned the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's the grandson of them. I didn't know that either. So his family has a long connection to Major League Baseball. And I'll be honest with you, since he's been in charge down there, San Diego has been more aggressive, and like here with all these players they have now, but he was really trying to bring a championship down there. The San Diego area lost the Chargers, and really the Padres is the one big team there. And it seems like he did a really good job of bringing the fans were very excited about the team and everything. And I hate to hear that. His name was Peter Sedell, was his name, and he passed away. So anyway, I thought I mentioned that on our podcast today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's very much worth, noting how much he changed baseball in, a small market like that. And I think he really did change a little bit of how small market teams maybe approach free agency. He kind of proved that, it's okay to spend money. Some teams might point to this season, they say, this is reason not to spend, But I mean, he completely revived baseball in San Diego, and brought basically this culture with Fernando Tatis Jr. and all these exciting players. Completely revived baseball over there. So quite sad to see.
Speaking of Tatis, he won the Platinum Glove, which I'm still shocked that he never played right field before, and he's like the best freaking fielder in the National League. So, and that's a freakish athlete. That just is a freakish athlete. But too bad he's going to
congratulations, good for him.
Painted a little bit. So, who did win the Silver Slugger? Because I had completely forgot about that.
Well, I have one. I know we had one. That's it.
Yeah. I'll kind of go down it here in the American League. Diaz from Tampa Bay won his first at first base. Marcus Semien from Texas at second base. That was the second. Corey Seager at shortstop won his third Silver Slugger. Rafael Devers from the Boston Red Sox won his second. And then when we get to the outfield, it was Lewis Roberts from the White Sox. Julio Rodriguez from Seattle won his second. He's a young player, too. Kyle Tucker from Houston won his first. And then the catcher was Adley Rutschman. Ohtani got the DH. And this year they gave out a utility player Silver Slugger, and it was Gunnar Henderson. So that's the American League, and it was Henderson's first, Ohtani's second, and Rutschman's first, of course. In the National League, Matt Olson, who had a heck of a year with Atlanta, was the first baseman. Can't argue with that. Luis Ariz hit 350 for Florida. That's his second Silver Slugger. Lindor from the Mets won his third. Let's see. Oh, Austin Riley, who I picked for the MVP at the beginning of the year, did not win the MVP, but he won a Silver Slugger. He got his second. And in the outfield, it was Acuna Jr. You can't deny that. He got his third. Mookie Betts won his sixth. Juan Soto won his fourth. We were talking about Juan Soto. William Contreras, Wilson's younger brother from Milwaukee, won his first. The DH was Bryce Harper, winning his third. And the utility player was Cody Bellinger. And they gave out a Silver Slugger for the best team hitting. And it's no surprise, it's the Atlanta Braves. Those guys can knock the cover off the ball. And the Texas Rangers were the teams that won the Silver Slugger. So congratulations to all the winners. And the Cardinals got a lot of work. I'm looking at this year like it was such a down year and nothing really went our way. We got nowhere to go but up, you know? That's you know, sometimes what Marie McGovern, there's got to be a what is that? There's
be a morning after.
There's got to be a morning after.
A side adventure.
Yes.
Is there any other Cardinal news?
Well, let's see. You know what? Not really, but there is a little bit in my world. Doing this podcast, I absolutely love it. I love coming on here and seeing y'all every week. But I get people send me stuff now, which is really cool. And I've been working on a Enos Slaughter thing I'm going to put back here when I get it done with every Topps card and Bowman card he's had. And one of my teachers, Bill Haggard, who I love to death, when I was a kid, you know, kids weren't into all the baseball stuff like I was once you get to high school. And Bill was a science teacher, and he was just like me with his collection and talking baseball all the time. And he heard I had this, so he sent me 2 Enos Slaughter cards. He said, check your mailbox. You got 2 Enos Slaughters coming, because he's seen what I needed. So thank you, Mr. Haggard. I appreciate you. And that's pretty cool. So that's been fun. That's my fun of just doing this. People send me stuff all the time. So I'm very appreciative of that. Our contest for the free agents, we have 6 people right now, but if you get your picks in before by tonight, you can also get in this. And it's for the old Bruce Sutter garden gnome. And usually when they see the garden gnome, people want it because it's pretty cool. Other than that, Vince, nothing. It's just been kind of quiet. A lot of rumors. The winter meetings are coming up December 8th. Maybe that'll kind of kickstart things. I think once Ohtani goes somewhere, I think we're going to see a domino effect going on in December.
Well, in Cub news, the new Cub manager, Craig Counsell, was introduced. Max, did you catch any of his press conference?
I watched all of it, actually, because I'm that much of a nerd. And obviously, it's weird because I've never heard him speak before. And David Ross, he's got a very distinct voice and way he talks, and I've been so used to it over the past few years that it was so bizarre hearing Craig Counsell talk for the first time. But he's very well spoken. He's very excited for the job. So I don't know. It was nice.
Yeah, I listened to I watched it on YouTube. I wasn't able to watch it live, but I did watch one of the YouTube videos of it. I thought it was one of the more interesting and honest press conferences I've heard. Like they asked him, "Have you reached out to the players?" And he basically said, "I haven't really gotten around to it yet. I've had other things going on." Usually that question is always asked. Yes, the first thing I did is I texted all the players. why do you need to text the players automatically? You got other things going on. Just get it. He's like, yeah, I got other things to do, you know. Spring training's still a few months away. I don't know who's going to be on the team. Uh, but I did appreciate his honesty, and he was very complimentary of Ross, very complimentary of the Brewers, and very complimentary of the Cubs. So, and you know, as fast as it happened for us, it happened just as fast for him. You know, it really went down fast. The Otani rumors are still out there. He's strongly linked to the Cubs, and there's a report out that he might be willing to go to for a short-term contract in order to get another hit at free agency. So then you would be looking at maybe something that's a lot more manageable. I don't want to give a guy whose arm has blown out twice in his major league career here a 12-year contract, and that's the rumors that he's looking for that Bryce Harper type money. And I don't, but you know, the difference is Harper, what, 400 million, and Otani 600 million. I don't want to go that long. I don't want this thing to be a bad contract. The last few seasons, you're just throwing good money into a guy who was just aged past the contract. So this rumor of maybe settling for a short-term contract initially, so he does have one more crack at free agency, that appeals to me a little bit more. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Personally, I'm kind of interpreting that more as an opt-out. Maybe he has an opt-out after like 5 years, so he can hit free agency in his early 30s. And, you know, if he doesn't think he can top his guaranteed money, he can just opt in. Because a short-term contract with him would really hamstring a team's payroll. Because with the high AAV, it's going to be about 50 million, and that is, you know, that's almost what, like a luxury tax. First year luxury tax is like $230 million. That's almost a fourth of your luxury tax payroll on one guy who can't even pitch right now. So, if I had to guess, it's going to be like the shortstop contracts we saw, where it's super long, but it drives the AAV down. Like in terms of AAV, like the annual value, a guy like Corey Seager is making only, I want to say, 20 to 25 million, which is a lot more manageable. I mean, we were about to pay Marcus Stroman 20 million a year, so kind of spreading the years out, it hurts a little bit less. But you know, as someone who's had to watch Jason Hayward, you know, basically destroy his Cubs legacy, and it was kind of sad, even though he's a great guy. I mean, you just, I don't know. Still want the Cubs to sign him though, even if it's all the money in the world.
I always, before you persuaded me last week, Max, when we were talking about free agents, I kind of thought he'd maybe sign a 1-year deal, big 1-year deal with the Angels, so they could show him, hey, look, we're serious. We're going to build a winner here. And, you know, and then he can't pitch anyway, and go 1 more year with him, and then he'd go free agent. But that's kind of what I was thinking originally, was just a 1-year deal with his original team. But unless somebody comes along like the Dodgers or somebody, or the Cubs can come along and just, but yeah. So how old a guy is he? Is he 28 or 30, something like that right in there? I
will check.
I think he's 29.
29. So yeah, I guess
he's 29.
I think it's a 4-year deal or something. Yeah, then he could probably get another nice long deal as well. So yeah, that's possible. But I really, in my heart, I could see him staying 1 more year with the Angels, where he can just hit. He likes it there. Trout, he knows everybody. The Angels can go all in, try to pick up as many people as they can and make a run for it. But man, they seem like they're cursed, you know. But I could see him staying 1 more year with them. So when you say short contract, that's kind of what I'm thinking there.
In other Cub news, surprise, surprise, Cody Bellinger turned down the qualifying offer, which surprised nobody. So he is hitting the open market, and with Boros as his
free draft pick, maybe.
Yeah. So
yeah,
there you go. And also, I do understand that you can find an article to say anything this time of year, because writers have to fill newspaper spaces or website spaces or whatever, app spaces. They have to write something. But it was funny because last week Max said that he thought that Stroman just seemed like a Cardinal pickup. And then I read an article this week that linked Stroman to the Cardinals. So, you know who else is going to get a qualifying offer?
Oh, he always gets a qualifying offer for me.
Yeah.
Is it
Jeremy Connor?
Jeremy Connor.
Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. Welcome to our panel. We have 4 distinguished people and myself on this panel. We have guest Gary Reinhart. Gary, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And how long have you been a Cub fan?
I was only a Cub fan for a couple months when I was a little kid because WGN was all we had. So Mark Grace for life. Other than that, go Cards.
Okay. Yeah. Randy, nice to see you.
Yes, Randy.
Thanks for having me.
How long have you been a Cub fan?
Never. I can't believe you live on this side of the river. What is your deal?
My family's all from the Peoria area, even though I grew up in the St. Louis area. And we've got JJ and Max, of course. And I do want to ask a question concerning the Cardinals to begin with. Okay, a few years ago, Mike Schilt was fired because of philosophical differences with management. And this year, the Cardinals proceeded to have a down year, a really down year. Is it possible that maybe Mozeliak and upper management are on the wrong side of the philosophical differences? We got 3 Cardinal fans here. What do you think?
Hard hitting right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to talk about my exes and how we broke up? I mean, why are you doing this?
Oh man,
we've had bad years before. I mean, I'm the oldest. Yeah, I'm the oldest here, and we 74 through 80, we were terrible. So, and it just was the other teams were better, you know. And then I went through the Joe Torre years. Love Joe Torre, but the ownership didn't really want to. We just went with our minor leaguers then. So we've had some ups and downs. This is a big year, though. This is a big year, and I think hang on tight because we might surprise some people this year. I think we can be in the fight for the playoffs this year. I really do. But you know me, I'm Mr. Sunshine and Lollipops too. But that's what I'm thinking.
You can go ahead. I'll finish this one if he wants to go ahead.
Go ahead, Gary.
I think it's a layered onion. I mean, first off, you talk about the Joe Torre years and stuff. Like, yeah. We went from the 80s that was insane to the 90s were rough until La Russa showed up. But, I mean, this is the second losing season since I was 20 and I'm 44. So Mozeliak's first year losing, if we really want to peel it back, he had a third baseman from AAA in left field, Jordan Walker. You know, any other organization, I don't know if he's up that fast. Alec Burleson was our right fielder for most of the year. The Michaelis deal's horrible because you're giving a guy who nobody in the NL is scared of $30 million a year. Can he get innings? Yeah, but if that's our ace, we're in big trouble. But side note, I really think we don't have a chance anytime soon. Ever since the schedule change, we are screwed. I think I talked to you guys about this the other day. If we can't play the Pirates and the Reds and the Cubs, give or take, and the Brewers, 20 times each, we're screwed. So that's my take.
I feel like I've got a lot of imposter syndrome here because I'm just kind of like a fan in the sense that kind of like JJ is, where like I'm all about like the feeling and just how it feels. And like I grew up in the 90s and we weren't very good until 96 whenever La Russa came around. And I was trying to think of like favorite players from that era. And I can think of Ozzie and Ray Langford. Like those were my guys in the 90s. And I feel like right now, yeah, we've got a couple of big people on the corners or whatever, but I just feel like we're like missing a couple other big names that really feel like a full team. And Mozeliak has really tried to I feel like ride this wave of, to me, it feels like a rebuilding, like an Oakland or like a Minnesota or whatever. We're just trying to go with the people that we've got in the farm system and not really like going out, and he doesn't really do big like blockbuster deals or whatever. And just kind of like riding it out and see how far we can get on this amount of cash or whatever. It's kind of how it feels. But I know Vince has brought it up multiple times this season. Like, you're paying someone like Wainwright, who we love and hate to see him go, but he's kind of dead weight. So I don't know. I'm with JJ. I think things are going to turn around this year. I think they have to. I think it's the only way it can go.
I'm curious if the philosophical differences were money.
I don't blame that all on Mo. I kind of blame that on the DeWitts. I mean, Mo's got what he has. I don't, when you say we don't really have big names, I mean, our organization has never signed a tier 1 free agent. We've traded for a lot. We've never ever signed a tier 1 free agent. So we've always got by being lucky. I mean, look at 06. Nick Punto, Punto was 11. Okay. Aaron Miles. Look at those little Donovan. The problem with this year is you have a Brendan Donovan, but that guy should be coming off the bench. You look at that 04, 05, 06 era where we had 5 to 6 big names, like you said, and he would have been coming off the bench and playing on Sundays. Now he's batting 5th, every day. So we got to spend some money this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think you made a good point, Gary, and that the schedule is hurting the Cardinals, because with the balanced schedule, you're not playing. Let's face it, the Central's had the weakest teams for quite a while. You're not playing those bottom feeders 19 times a year. And so it's hard to have a robust record when you're playing the Dodgers and the Phillies the same amount of time as you're playing the Bucks.
I'll make one more comment on that, and I'll let you guys take over. This is the only time I'm doing this podcast because Vince, I don't want to deal with any of you Cub fans come April, because you're going to be the only ones to spend money. You just saw how bad the NL Central was. We got swept out of the playoffs with Milwaukee. If you spend any kind of money, you have the division for the next 5 years. And if you got Council, I think you guys are, this has been fun, but this will be it for me, guys.
What do you think, Max?
Maybe the philosophical differences were literal. Maybe, Mo's really into Aristotle and Socrates and stuff like that, and Schilt just wasn't about that. He was more of a Marxist. I don't know.
That could be the right answer.
But there was some sort of divide there, and because Schilt got Manager of the Year votes, I want to say, because that was the same year he went on that huge win streak, and he still got canned, which is really strange, kind of.
Very.
Yeah, it's just been a weird ride since he was fired. They made the playoffs last year, which it looked like business as usual. But this year, with all the weirdness that went on to go along with the struggles on the field.
The struggles on the field, Vince, last year, without Pujols, the way he was in September, we're not even where we were last year. If it wasn't for a 40-something-year-old guy having 10 home runs or whatever, and said we were on our way to this path. So,
yeah.
There's a chance we could reshuffle the cards, if you will, that we have all these prospects, and really a lot of teams are interested in a lot of these prospects. We can make some moves. I've heard some talks of Arenado possibly, and the Dodgers really wanting him.
Yeah, I heard that at the trade deadline too.
A lot of maybe some of their pitching prospects, and we have Walker and Gorman who can play third, and maybe just take a look at this roster, because we've got more outfielders coming, a few pitchers, and see what we can do with it. But yeah, the future right now is a little shaky. But let's see what the winter brings. And if they did make some moves, because Vince, you said this before, the Cardinals might be a little gun shy on the trades, because at one time we traded Zach Gallen and Sandy Alcantara and some of these guys, and now the fans are like, hey, what the heck? But none of them complained at the time, because they were just prospects coming up out of the minors. But now it looks terrible, those moves. But we'll see. I think we're going to make some moves this winter, and they may not hit the radar right off the bat, but maybe down the line they can come through, because that Seguias kid we got from Montgomery looks like an outstanding player coming as well.
Are you two Cardinal fans okay with Nolan Arenado moving along?
I don't know what their how much time is left on like him and Goldie's
Goldie's
contract.
just this year. Arenado's got 4 or 5. I think 4.
Oh, wow. Then I don't like that one bit. No. Like
you want to move him or you want to keep him?
No, I want to keep Arenado. But
Okay.
the thing is he's a very vocal player that doesn't seem to mind saying like, hey, what's going on here? Like if we're not winning, like I want to go somewhere. And like Flaherty was kind of a mouthy, kind of seemed like a little bit of a mouthy player like that. And I'm the type where it's kind of like, well, bye. But Arenado he's a cornerstone. Like you kind of, I don't know, you got to have him.
I do love him, but if it made a team better, I'm all about if we got a couple, I don't know. A lot of these guys you can trade for have had injuries, a history of injuries, or they've got a 1-year contract or something like that. And, the Dodgers, that's one of their blessings is they have so much pitching. If we could get a couple of their pitchers, I've heard Max Muncy's name mentioned, although he's an older player too, or I don't know, he's right in the middle of his career, it seems like. Seems like he's been around forever. But anyway,
he batted 190 and had 30 homers this year. Did you guys see that? Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, golly. Well, anyway, if we get some pitching, that's what we need. If we got pitching, I think our defense and our hitting can match up against most teams. I think. Not the Atlantas or the Baltimores, but the average teams. I mean,
the Cardinals need JJ to speak at the season ticket holder meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna rev them people up. Give me a bottle of NyQuil and we're off to the races.
Yeah.
Hey JJ, let me ask you a question that's not related to baseball. Did you invite anyone else on this panel? Because there's someone in the waiting room with the name of iPad.
Oh, well, there was a guy, Kevin Lee, but he never gave me any response back. Kevin Lee, but I don't know any iPad.
Okay, I'm not gonna let Mr. iPad because I don't know who he is.
That's what you get, Kevin Lee, for not responding.
All right, let me ask you this, because since I've been an adult, the Cardinals have had a tremendous history of trading for people and then extending them once they're here. McGuire, Holiday, Arenado, Goldschmidt.
Larry Walker.
Pardon me? Yeah, Larry Walker.
Larry Walker.
Very good. I haven't heard this proposed, but doesn't it seem like the Juan Soto would be that type of person that the Cardinals would unload a few of their prospects for, bring him over here, being he's on that walk year, and try to extend him? Or do you think that's just a little too out of their price range with what they're paying Goldschmidt and Arenado?
I don't think that jives with my philosophy. Maybe this is the St. Louis, and I know that you Cubs fans gotta hate this, but the Cardinal way, like the Wilson or the darn it, our Contreras. We got rid of Yachty. We were so used to him for so long. This just stable battery mate that was in charge of the game, and we got this guy that's more flamboyant and doesn't really kind of. It's just, I don't know, like I said, I'm more of like a feeling guy, and I just don't know. I don't know.
You think they took a wrong direction there? Maybe
I don't know. I think it's just hard to pinpoint. Like I said, we had that steerhead for such a long time, and you talk about like them kind of losing their way this year. And I feel like obviously the catcher things that went on midway through the season where you don't know what to do with the guy. And you're talking about moving him to DH and stuff like that. I've totally lost the plot of what we were actually talking about here.
Juan Soto, but that's okay.
Oh yeah. Juan Soto. Yeah. I got to say that he, as a player, I know you guys are all about stats and all that stuff, but there's something about him to me that just feels like he wouldn't be the right mix here in St. Louis. But I remember
a Cardinal fan.
What's that?
Said you're too much of an old school Cardinal.
I know. Like talking about that's I let off with the philosophy thing is like I really do kind of like buy into that kind of St. Louis culture. And I just remember I think he's toned it down, but wasn't he with Washington? He had that really big step into the ball that was almost like come on. I don't know, just that kind of stuff.
Shuffle.
That kind of it makes the women here in Cleveland puke. Like that is the kind of stuff that just turns me off. You know, I think I was thinking about players that I liked back in the day, and I know that over time it's soured, but like you know, I played center field as a kid, and like I liked JD Drew for a while, and I liked Colby Rasmus for a while before they kind of showed the way that they were. And but they still like kind of went about their business and were kind of quiet. And I don't know, those kind of loud players to me just don't seem to jive here.
Vince, to comment two real quick things. Number one, when Contreras, you make me think of that Cubs series in Wrigley where he's doing this and he's running around. And I was so nervous, like they're going to come back and beat us. The baseball gods are not cool with any of this shit when they do that. And the other thing, who was the stud flamboyant guy for the Mets a couple of years ago? Outfielder, help me out.
Was not the guy that threw the ball in the stands this year, was it?
No. This is an outfielder, Dominican dude that was very flamboyant. I can't help you.
Cepedis? Yeah.
Cepedis. So when Vince said like Juan Soto here, it made me think of Cepedis or Cespedes, whatever it was, coming here. And my buddy, I called him and I go, "What do you think about us getting him?" And he goes, "Gary, he drives a purple Lamborghini. He's not going to drive a purple Lamborghini around St. Louis." And I go, "All right, that was it. I knew he was not. This isn't where he was landing." So, am I the only one drinking on this one Cub, one beer?
Oh man,
all right, this is 8%. So oh damn!
I need some of that.
Yeah, start drinking ski.
Let's move on.
I would love to have Juan Soto, no doubt about it. Talented guy. Yeah. But
did you say one soda or?
Yeah, he wants one soda.
But we're not gonna. We can't afford that. And again, he did win in Washington. He did win there, but I'm with you. I just don't think. In a perfect world, yes, but no, he's not going to come to St. We're not going to get him. We're not going to. I don't even think we're going to entertain the idea of him coming to St. Louis. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's kind of a tough fit too. I see three big problems. You guys already nailed culture. That's the biggest one. He's coming from San Diego, which seems to be a very dysfunctional team this year. Even if they've got all these veteran guys, they've got Manny Machado. Juan Soto has been in the league for 6 years now. They fell apart. They looked like they didn't have fun playing baseball anymore. You've got that. You've got a positional issue. Where's he going to play? Jordan Walker is already kind of your left field DH type guy. Having another guy like that on the roster, how do you squeeze him in when you need to, give Contreras off days, you need him to DH some. It's just defensively, it doesn't seem like a great fit. And as far as what San Diego wants, I don't know they could offer that. I saw a report saying that San Diego wants controllable pitching. That's the one thing the Cardinals don't really have at all. In fact, they're going to probably acquire controllable pitching this offseason. So it just doesn't make a lot of sense for me.
Okay. Moving on. Max, JJ, you got a question?
Yeah, I got a question. Hang on. I got my questions right over here. All right. This year, Arizona Diamondbacks, I don't think if you bet on them at the beginning of the year and went to Vegas, you could have made a lot of money. Nobody really seen this coming. Is there a team out there this year that's kind of under the radar? Now, with all the trading and the free agency, we don't know what the teams are going to look like. But is there a team building? The Cubs have come a long way in the last 2 years, looking really good. But I really don't think they're an under-the-radar team. I mean, just the steps they're taking, next year looks like they should make the playoffs if everything goes accordingly. But is there a team down there? The Oaklands. That's comical. Okay, that's comical. But is there a team down there that really nobody's even thinking of that could make the playoffs and make a run at it, young players, that kind of thing?
I have one.
Okay.
It's Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
They've
one.
got holes now, but if they fill them in the offseason, they've got a lot of talent. They've got a stud at the front of the rotation if he can stay healthy. And their offense is great, and they run the bases like it's nobody's business. That's a team that scares me every time I look across the diamond and see that we have to face the Reds.
That's a good one.
Free agency, like the Rangers did last year, we can't really answer this question until February because one team's going to spin and get and do a lot of stuff. Secondly, watch we sit here and say all this. I think the Brewers have a lot to, I don't know. I would think they're going to have more fire than anybody. Granted, they might not have half the talent, but I'd be pissed off if, that's me though. As a Cardinal fan, I'd be pissed off if my best player ran uptown. I mean, the day before this on Facebook, some Brewers fan said he'll never go to the Cubs. And then the next day I was like, damn, where's that post at? I want to see that guy, But anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Randy, you got any ideas?
I kind of went a little more surface level here, and I'm really with the year that they had this year. I'm just really scared of the Cubs, to be completely honest. I think that us and the Cubs are going to have a comeback year, but I really think that the Cubs could go all the way. Maybe not all the way, but they could definitely win the division next year, and I think that they're going to be a formidable foe. I probably don't know this right. Like, I just don't know, like, outside of Cardinals Cubs that well. But I mean, like, I feel like maybe the Marlins, like, they're a team that I don't know the players or anything that well, but like they really seem like from the ground up with Jeter, behind the scenes and stuff, the new stadium, the new horrific jerseys and things, that they're really trying to make a push to be better. I could see a team like that maybe doing something. I mean, you just never know. Like, you talk about, I guess, like the early 2000s with teams like Minnesota, or like Cleveland has always been a team that just kind of like hangs in there. I could see the Marlins being something that just kind of like popped up out of nowhere.
I mean, that they did great, and their Cy Young winner was garbage this year. So if Sandy comes back next year, everybody's in trouble. And Skip won the Manager of the Year award.
Oh, today. Shoot, yeah, Skip Schumacher.
Man, I wish the Cardinals could find a guy like him.
Yeah, I mean, man, talk about the Cardinal way right there. Who's that guy again?
And they got John Mayberry on the bench too. Yeah.
Oh,
the GOAT, number 47.
Okay, well, I love Mabes too, so yeah.
8 runs against Cincinnati. # never forget. Remember that game against David Weathers? They retired him. That was great. 8 runs in the 9th inning in Cincinnati. Woo! Avery with the 3-run homer.
That was a fun one.
Great memory.
Never forget. Yachty led off the inning with a walk. Okay, I'm done. All right, go ahead.
Man, you're on fire.
This is one of the greatest comebacks ever. 8 runs in the 9th inning. I didn't even have money on that game.
Max, you got any ideas on a surprise team this year? I know you were giving yourself.
The Cubs are the easy one, but I won't pick them. I've got an NL and an AL team. You guys are gonna hate the AL team, but for the NL team, I think the Giants. They've been linked to every top end free agent. They were in on Judge, almost got Judge last year, so I think they're gonna go all out this year. Teams that miss the playoffs in the AL, the Yankees, they're always gonna be there. They're a persistent threat. I think this is his final year, potentially. He's going to have to really prove that he's a good manager, or a GM, I guess. Same with Boone. Boone has to prove that he, is a good manager on the field. And so I think they're going to kind of push their chips in because, people's jobs are at stake. And, they disappointed so much this past year. They've been linked to some of the top guys. They've been linked to Bellinger. So I think they'll make a splash and try and make a run in the AL East.
I've been hearing Ohtani with San Fran. Go ahead, Vince.
Say the Yankees are long in the tooth. I mean, Rizzo, LeMahieu, Stanton. I know they, Volpe, who was a rookie. Chapman, or not Chapman. They had Donaldson at third. That is an old team. And
Garrett Cole as well. How old's he?
Well, yeah, he's still pitching great though. He's probably going to win another Cy Young this year, but offensively, it's just an old team. They've got a lot of contracts that I just don't see the offense getting better without a significant free agent. And if I'm a free agent, I'm not sure I want to sign with the Yankees with the antiques that are on the field.
That's fair.
Of course, I'm hoping, because I don't like the Yankees.
Your shirt says different.
This is
Just
for
a
the
New York, yeah.
New York Knicks. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Huge Knicks fan. So, all right. Now, I've talked about the Cardinals, so let's talk about the Cubs. What do you think about what the Cubs did to Ross? It was kind of an ambush, but we've done it before. We did it with Ricky Renteria, and it worked out when Madden won a World Series. Is this just part of business? Is it unethical? Because they did give Ross the, oh, we're not looking to fire you after the season. I was looking to fire him, but the Cubs weren't.
You sure were.
Did you see that being a little bit, that's a crappy thing to do?
I'll give my 2 cents real quick. This happens all the time in real life. So is it unethical? Maybe a little bit, but Ross is under contract technically for 2024, so he's still getting paid. He basically gets a year to spend with his kids and just not have to work. He's getting paid his full salary. It's not a bad severance package for getting ambushed.
Correct.
And we've seen other managers, exit on worse terms. So I don't think it's that bad, personally.
Well, one of the things that made it worse was one of your biggest rivals, the Brewers. And then you got the Brewers fans, but I want to say this first. Ross handled that very professionally and classy. He said, if my boss doesn't think I'm a good enough manager, then he should hire somebody that he thinks is the best. Handled it so well that I think he'll down the line get another job. Now, I know the X's and O's, Vince, he drove you crazy. But sometimes when you get a guy like you guys got Madden, that was I mean, when I seen you guys got Madden, that kind of sent a shockwave through me anyway. Like, oh no, this got a lot tougher. And your team's about at that same spot where you got all these young guys coming, and now here you got Council. So, like you said, Max, things happen in the real life where you just, but it didn't look great. But I understand you got Craig Council now, and but that Cub Brewer rivalry is going to be turned up a notch now. This is going to get pretty good. But I think maybe one of the reasons Council left, and you hint on this last week, Max, I think I don't see a lot of stuff coming up in Brewer land. They don't have a lot of prospects. Some of their players, like Yelich, is getting older, and they have a lot of journeymen on their team. This could be pretty bad for the Brewers, to be honest with you. But to answer your question, it is a little dirty. But you guys got great counsel.
Randy, you want this one?
I was just gonna say, I mean, he's just a far better manager. I think he's established. He's doing things well in Milwaukee. So I think that's one more reason why we look out for the Cubs this year. I really do. And I think David Ross, he's a stand-up guy. He seems to be very respected. But man, I'm worried about the Cubs.
That blew my mind. I couldn't believe that the Cubs got Council. I thought there's no way, but now it's cool because the Cardinals can really sit back and watch the Brewers and Cubs hate each other. And like, hey, we're just down here in St. Louis kicking it. We got our own problems right now. We can't worry about them anyway. We got to see if Mason Wynn can hit 250 and if Jordan Walker can bat 280.
Yeah.
We need pitching bad.
Now, speaking of that, can I ask my next question, or were you going to elaborate on the Ross thing?
No, I'm done.
I'm going to go with the Cub folks first. You two Cub fans, if you could get one guy this winter and to make your team better, what is the one position, the one player that would make your team better? Who would you really want to get? The one big present in the bag that could make the Cubs push them over the top.
Go ahead, Max.
I'm thinking because our roster has so many holes in it. Preferably someone who's younger. I think Yamamoto makes a lot of sense. He's 25. Someone like that, it's just someone in your rotation. It's a mainstay in your rotation for the next 6 to 7 years, potentially longer. Positionally, a guy like Pete Alonso would be fantastic. even more reason for Cardinals fans to dislike the Cubs. But
Is
wouldn't
he a
mind Pete
free agent?
Alonso.
Is he a free agent?
He's under contract for 1 more year.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say probably Yamamoto or Pete Alonso.
That'd be good. That really would be good.
If you had to nail me one player, I would say Yamamoto. Pitching's just so hard to find. He's so young and he's been so dominant in Japan. He could take a step back and still be a top 10 pitcher in the National League. So I would say Yamamoto. Positionally, I'm not with Max. Alonso is not my number one choice. You can always find first baseman. I like Soto. I like what he brings. He is a generational offensive player. And I would rather have that than Alonso in all of his strikeouts. I mean, we can get Patrick Wisdom to play first base and hit 35 home runs if we let him bat enough.
So I've actually got some stats to back this up that I'm pulling from the top of my head.
Of
but I remember
course you
seeing this.
do.
I do have some stats. Against the Cubs this year, he hit 500 with 8 home runs. I'm not making that up. I am not making that up.
Who are you talking about?
Decimated. Pete Alonso decimated us.
Well, he's under contract, so that shouldn't even count. You got to go with guys.
He's on the block.
He's on the block. But yeah, same with Juan Soto. Free agent wise, I guess
he was
Ohtani
mad
would
when they
make more
fired
sense,
the manager.
Neither of you guys said Ohtani. Okay.
Oh, I'd love to have Ohtani. He doesn't come up number one when I
That's
Juan
everything
Soto's
online is you guys, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, Juan Soto for offense, for pitching, Yamamoto. Now a healthy Ohtani who can go to the mound, that would probably. And I know usually it's about a year recovery, but what if this is it? What if there's been so many splitters thrown that his arm just isn't pitching anymore? Then you're spending 50, 60 million a year on a DH. That's my fear with Ohtani. But hey, it's not my money. So
Gary, who would you like to see the Cardinals get? There's one guy out there, and I know we need pitching, but who would you like to see the Cardinals get?
I mean, everybody says Nola, but his ERA is 4, which actually nowadays is pretty good. I mean, when you threw that question out there, I mean, I guess I kind of want to see Jordan Montgomery back because of how good he was and how good he can be. And we need Mozeliak has already got me upset because he said we're just getting 2 starters. That means you're going to see Steven Matz or Libator, and that means, I mean, I'm hurt, and I get the JJ's all excited, but this was my first year being in the season ticket holder, so it was gross.
Oh, yikes.
So, and all of September, we just went to get giveaways and went over to the soccer stadium. So, but yeah, no, there's so many holes in the Cardinals. There isn't one guy. There's 4 guys, and you got me thinking of Soto and everybody else. I just want to see us spend any kind of money on anybody, but I know the Cardinals, so we'll probably get a Michael Waka, and I would be good with that, but I don't know what else the Cubs, you guys can actually really sit here and go, we're going to get Pete Alonso. We got a chance of getting Ohtani. We could get Juan Soto. Cardinal, we don't have any who I don't know in our farm system who anybody wants besides Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn,
Victor Scott.
Yeah. Anyway, So
McCreevy might be making a step up, but these guys are unproven, But that's the thing that kind of surprised me about Arizona. A lot of their players were young kids that came up that were unproven, and it gelled. And Thomas, he came up, and then it was like sort of our Jordan Walker. He had to go back down, just didn't have it at the time, and when he came back up, he was on fire. So yeah. I'm kind of hoping. What I'd like to see, this is me, and I'm sorry, Randy, if I'm stepping on you here, but I'd like to see one big pitcher and us trade for another, because I know that like a lot of people want Gorman, Lars Newbar, Edman, or Donovan. We have all these guys like
I don't see any of those guys leaving though. Everybody you just named, unless it be somebody really, I see it. The most thing that made sense out of our half hour here is us moving Nolan Arenado for stuff.
For all the prospects. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's batting 260. He's hit, he's making 30 million, and you can spread that out and get a lot of stuff for the. I thought we were going to trade him at the deadline to the Dodgers.
I kind of did too. Did too.
Yeah, now you're selling me on that a little bit.
I mean, I thought him and Goldie were going to go somewhere. I don't want to see Luke and Baker at first. I think that'd be a lot of trouble. I don't think he's a major leaguer, but I don't know. I think the Cardinals got a lot of turning around to do, but I don't know.
And we got 3 catchers. We can't keep all 3 of them. There's a 4th one coming, and Herrera can't stay in Memphis anymore. You're going to have to really get rid of Kisner or Contreras or
Kisner looked good when he played this year.
Yeah. So,
if you let him play, I think he'll prove himself. And what everyone has said is like he hit in the minors. But like whenever you're backing up that number 1 guy like that and you're only playing 1 or 2 days a week, like how do you get that groove? I'm just like, I think my whole thing here is like stats, whatever, like chemistry, building a team around something and like, and just everyone moving towards that same goal, I think is such a big deal. Free agent wise, like when I look down the list, everyone's in their 30s. So like I literally just read about him today, but like this Yamamoto guy, like he sounds like this, he's 25. He sounds like he could be that generational pitcher or whatever. And you guys are forgetting St. Louis's biggest secret weapon.
Oh, who's that?
We have the ambassador to the world, Lars Nootbaar.
Yeah,
like he brings everyone together. I mean, that would be a big pickup for me, but I'm more about like, I would like to see, I was going to make this joke, but like we got like 10 Daniel Descalsos. Can we maybe get rid of one of these outfielders? And like Bellinger would be amazing as a Cardinal. Full stop. And again, I love center fielders. I think he'd be great spearheading that outfield, but then like, let's get like a couple more Woody Williams. Could you imagine Clayton Kershaw in a Cardinals uniform?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Now, I'm just saying, like he's at the end of his rope. But how many people have come here late? Larry Walker, Lance Berkman, Albert Pujols,
Jeff Suppan.
Suppan. People that are going to eat up innings, but like it's a collective, and I feel like you could make some of those kind of like moves that fly a little bit under the radar. Those 2 guys definitely aren't under the radar, but like, and you go, oh, wow, like this team is now a contender is kind of how I feel.
Right.
Go ahead, Vince.
I was going to say, I think this illustrates the problem with the Cardinals. Here we have a Cardinal fan who's advocating that you bring back a pitcher who is probably in his early 50s now and clone him. There you go.
Hey, I don't mean to burst your bubble, Randy, but Suppan, Woody Williams, and Jeff Weaver, none of those guys do anything without Dave Duncan. So unless we're going to bring Dave Duncan
you are right there. You are definitely right there.
And the other thing, to give Contreras credit, all of April, he didn't know Flaherty had a slider. He didn't know Wainwright threw a change. Like, the World Baseball Classic really screwed the Cardinals this year, if you ask me. I think we could have been, but we had 30 blown saves. So that's where I give you credit, JJ. We might have a good team if you take 15 of those away. But yeah, Dave Duncan is the reason, we had Suppan and Weaver and all. I loved who'd we trade Woody Williams for? Do you guys remember?
No, I don't remember.
Dude, he's a Cardinal Hall of Famer. A Cardinal Hall of Famer, not a real Hall of Famer. Vince? He was with the Padres. We traded number 16.
David Freese?
Ray Langford.
Oh, Ray Langford. Okay.
Yeah, this was back in the early 2000s, man. Oh, because Woody was on that 04 run. He when I was an usher at Busch, it was the coolest experience ever. His wife was in a hurry to go. He's signing autographs, and he said, "This is why we're here." And he kept signing, and I was like, wow. Because I watched Berkman and Carlos Beltran, all those dudes run over to the West End and get away from fans. And Woody was like, because they were all with the Houston Astros at the time. And he was like, that took the cake for like, and he was amazing as a Cardinal as well. So anyway,
you kind of slighted certain players, the Cardinal Hall of Fame, but that's the thing. Like you come here and you become legendary, and it's just different. And I think that brings people in. McGuire came, Holiday was able to like talk some people into coming here. So it's just I don't know, it's just a thing. There's just so much history.
I thought this was how it was everywhere. I thought how it is in St. Louis is like it is everywhere. I don't know any difference, but apparently there is a little difference in some of the teams. I've been to. I know last year when we got down to September, we still had like 36,000 people there. It wasn't the 45,000, but I went to Sunday games on a 115 game in August when we're like 20 games out, and there'd be 30. You could hear the beer man all over the stadium. And there was like 13,000 people in the crowd. It was
30,000 paid though.
30,000 paid, and we all got our bobblehead.
Yeah.
All right, we need to wrap this segment up. But I do want to thank Gary and Randy for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Guys.
Good job.
Thank you so much for having me.
And
I'm honored.
Have an open invitation anytime you want to come on.
Come on back.
Thanks, Vince.
Thank you.
Good times, fellas. Good to see you, JJ.
Hey, good to see you. Randy,
Thanks,
you
JJ.
too,
Good times,
brother.
Max. Good luck to the Cubs. See you guys.
All right.
Yeah, hey, when you're 20 games up on us next year, I'll come back to this podcast.
I'll hold you to that.
All right, fellas.
All right. Hey, wasn't that panel great? I mean,
Fantastic. I really had fun with that.
yeah. Two wonderful guests, and thank you, gentlemen, for coming on.
Vince,
But
I
now-
have to say this. You're like the leader of the McClare report. You got all the plates spinning and asking all the questions. Fantastic, man.
You want to know? I have been dying to get to baseball cards, and I'll tell you why. Me and my wife and my daughter went to Springfield because Violet's going to go to Missouri State next year. So we went to visit that. Also got to visit my other daughter, Rebecca, who's a graduate student there right now. And there are two resale shops. I'm a sucker for retail shop. Ask Max. I mean, Max loves to go to.
Yeah.
I think I ruined a vacation for him by stopping at every one for like a 2-week time period. But anyway, one place is called Mike's Unique in Springfield. The other place is called the STD Flea Market. Yes, the STD Flea Market. So, and I got old cards for both places. And what has really excited me, I haven't seen these cards forever. Now, granted, I do not go around looking at cards like JJ does, but I remember when these packs came out in the late 80s and I hadn't seen them. I got a ton of these. Whoa, they're green. They're hard to see.
Yeah.
These are the Future Stars AAA baseball cards, and this packet is from 1988. So what I want to do is I got about 10 packets. I got other stuff too. I got a lot of good baseball cards, but every 2-3 weeks I want to open these, and I think it'd be just fascinating to see who we've never heard of, who we've heard of, who's made it, who's maybe been a Hall of Famer. So that's what I'm opening, and I'm going to go ahead and go first because I've been waiting since I bought these on Saturday to open these. I guess I bought them on Friday, so here we go. All right, future AAA All Stars.
Oh, he's smiling.
No, this is just a coach, Mo Drabowski. I don't want to coach. Oh, okay.
All right.
This is an outfielder from the Phoenix Firebirds, John Skurla. I have never heard of him.
No.
I
We're
don't
gonna get
think
like 2 of these, I feel like.
I don't think he made it.
Most of them don't. Most of them don't make it.
From the Iowa Cubs, second baseman Brian House. I do remember the name, but I don't think he ever made it to the majors. This guy's just a trainer for the Colorado Springs team. Steve. The last name is spelled Ciscczzon. I don't even know if this is a real person.
I don't either. He snuck in on picture day.
Look at that last name.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Pitcher for the Denver Zephyrs, Bob Stoddard. Don't know him.
I don't think I've heard of him.
Oh, pitcher for the Albuquerque Dukes. Also went on to be the head football coach of the Tennessee Titans and St. Louis Rams, Jeff Fisher.
7-7.
Never heard of him. This is an outfielder for the Las Vegas Stars, Chris Nobbenshoe. Haven't heard of any of these people.
Not yet. There's going to be a big one coming. I got a feeling.
This is a first baseman for the Edmonton Trappers, Jamie Nelson. Oh, first baseman for the Calgary Cannons, Jim Bowie.
I like his knife.
And the last card is the
All
only
right.
guy I have heard of because he was the first card, the pitching coach, Bo Drabowski.
You got two Bo's.
We completely struck out here.
Oh. Well, hey, before I get to my card, Vince, I was in the garage and I found this box and it was loaded with Baseball Digest. You remember Baseball Digest?
Man.
And some of these I absolutely love. I'm just going to show a few. I went through it real quick, but this was my oldest one in there. 1967. It's black and white, and it's Tim McCarver.
Oh,
How about that? Oh, Timmy McCarver right there. And it says the kids are taking over at shortstop. That's the lead story. And 1967 earned run averages of 138 big league stars against each team. So when we were kids, Vince, these were the books. They were great stories and statistics, that like extra statistics. This not at bats, hits, RBIs, runs, scored, and stolen bases. And this one is autographed. This is 78. One of our favorite, Gary Templeton, right there. Yeah, it's about to flip off the fans, so look out. All right, I had to find a cubby, and this is the only cubby one I had. It's not in the best shape, but this is 1990. They call him the strikeout kid, Kerry Wood, right there. Kerry Wood. Yeah, I used to get these in the mail every month.
Hey, there's Bing Bong's butthole if anybody's interested.
What the heck?
Buddy.
Hey, man, he's giving up Kerry Wood the salute. And just the last one, I'm going to show two more right here. This is 1997, and they had a big story, and the poster boy on this one was Chipper Jones. Chipper Jones right there. And the last one was when the Arizona, this is 96, because it's the first year, but it's the ones with, it's the April issue right at the beginning of the season where it has all the rosters and schedules, and it shows you the new team, the Diamondbacks, and they built their team around two veterans, Matt Williams and Jay Bell, right there.
Oh,
so anyway,
wow.
These are the old Baseball Digests that were, like Reader's Digest kind of size reading, and I just love getting those in the mail all the time. All right, now to my pack. Again, this guy I liked his name mentioned so much last week. Tom Ajay, again, gave me another pack of cards, 1991 Topps. So let me get in there. I know it's got the piece of gum in it.
Don't chew it.
I will not chew it. It's almost disintegrated, to be honest with you. Oh, here we go. Hey, a little cheesecake photo of Al Leiter. Look at him right there. Hey, look out, ladies. Yeah. And by the way, Randy Roland had a some kind of bass thing in his microphone. Sound like Lou Rawls or something. Did you notice that? Yeah, I sound like a bird. He had this, hey, how you doing? Oh, here we go. This is my favorite Cub, matter of fact. Sean Dunston right there, running in and out. Running the bases right there. Love that guy.
Nice picture.
Nice picture. It'd be great if I got the manager from that Quebec team in here. Let's see. Who's some of these guys? Oh, Texas Ranger right here. Juan Gonzalez. Yeah, very young picture of him right there. This guy played for the Royals too, but here he is with Toronto. Rance Mullix.
Molinix, yeah.
Yeah, Mullix right there. A nice player and manager. Here he is with the Angels, Doug Rader.
Ah,
Yeah, checking it out. Let's see here. Frank Wells of Toronto. Do not remember him.
no.
Right there. I don't remember that guy. Oh, this guy started out like gangbusters and he just kind of faded away, though. Mark Greenwell of the Boston Red Sox. They always come up with great hitters. Man, that's a long legacy of
Yeah,
some
they
great
had-
hitters right there.
That was that time period they had him and Ellis Burks in the outfield, and it looked like they were going to be
Yeah.
10-year all-stars. They were both so talented, and quickly they both fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah. I love this picture right here. It's shot from above. One of my a very good catcher, Benito Santiago, stolen a lot of bases too. He's pretty fast for a catcher.
Yeah.
I like that photo with his mask in his hand. Let's see. We got a few more here. David Segui, and here he is with the Orioles, right there.
Son of Diego.
Oh, hey, Charlie Hayes.
Yeah. Key
Yeah.
Bryant's dad.
Yeah, very good. He was a nice player. Oh, when the Indians were so good, Carlos Baerga, right there.
Mm.
Very good player. Look at them quadriceps. Man, check him
Yeah.
out.
Went to New York and loved that pizza. Poor guy.
Yeah. And finally, Seattle Mariners Scott Bradley. He's my last one right there.
There we go.
Yeah. And this is the 40, it's 92 because Topps came out in 52. So 40-year anniversary right there in the corner.
Ah.
Anyway, so that's my set today. Thank you, Thomas J, for the pack of cards.
And remember, you have tonight to get in your picks for the free agent. Remember, you need to pick the top 5 free agents, and that is Otani, Yamamoto,
Bellinger, Snell,
and Nola.
That's it.
Pick the team they'll go to, and
How many years Otani will sign for?
yeah, how many years Otani will sign for.
That's a
And if you
tiebreaker.
want a tally for that grand prize of our memorabilia from the show, this is my Bing Bong. I spoil the heck out of him. Bing Bong, don't show everybody your butt again. I almost mentioned the guy's name. Let me know. Let JJ know who the player is behind me. If you're the first one in, you'll get a tally. And when we come back in 2 weeks, I'll have a tally sheet that shows where everybody's at. So this is the cup for this week. And you've got 2 weeks to peer at this guy, use AI to figure out who he is or whatever, and to get us your stuff. Thanks for all of our guests today, and we will see you in 2 weeks.